Number 30, junior, Benjamin Secor. And finally, number 4, senior captain, Anthony Delecia. The head coach for the Bulldogs is Daniel Kaiser, and assistants by Peter Coca, Daniel Pendergast, and Brett Stitchfield. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineups for the Milford Scarlet. Number 15, freshman, Anthony Daniels. Number 11, sophomore, Matt Gustavo. Number 3, senior, Gustavo Coutinho. Senior captain, number 14, Luca Testa. Finally, senior captain, number 10, Andrew Rivera. The head coach for the Scarlets is Dana Olsen, assistants by Eric Riley, Roy Dickerson, Trent LeBlanc, and John Buckin. This is fairly manageable schools, busy team from Canton, Milford, the Hawk Lee, and MIAA is back against the line of proud. Also make a good decision for how you cheer for either team. It is perfectly acceptable to want your team to be loud. You are encouraged to cheer for your team and not cheer your opponents. It is not acceptable to call the opposing team, coaching referees by their names, numbers, inappropriate language. Inappropriate, unspoken comment will result in a move from the game. Please represent your team and score accordingly. Thank you for your cooperation and good luck to both teams. Now, we all please rise, move your hats, we'll play my national anthem.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the gymnasium here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail Flatbread Company, a casual American dining experience specializing in an all-scratch-made kitchen featuring wood-fired flatbreads, an inviting atmosphere for the whole family to enjoy. And once again, we come to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma is a global contract development and manufacturing organization specializing in biopharmaceuticals and advanced therapies. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. Happy New Year, one and all. Welcome in here to the Milford Gym as we bring you our first edition of Scarlet Hawks athletics for the new year. Also our first opportunity to get a look at this boys basketball team in the new year. Your Scarlet Hawks come into action tonight tied for third place in the Kelly Rex Division standings. With an overall record of 4-2, they take on an opponent from the Davenport Division in the Canton Bulldogs. They are currently in 5th place in the Davenport standings. They're 2-4 on the season. With that, varsity basketball action underway here on this Tuesday evening in Milford, January the 7th. Now into 2025. We had a chance to sneak in one game before we shut things down for the holidays. It was a successful game for the girls basketball team against Stoughton, and now our first chance to see this boys team in action. And of course, fresh off of a big milestone achievement for Milford senior captain Andrew Rivera, which happened just prior to the new year, as Andrew was able to officially join the 1,000 point scorers club in a game that happened here at home. A lot had to go right for Andrew to have a chance to enjoy that milestone here at home, but it was able to be done back on Saturday, December 21st, as Rivera goes up looking for Milford's first points of the night. Will not come, as Milford will turn the basketball over here in this early stretch of the game. Just less than a minute into this varsity basketball action. Canton now slinging it around the perimeter. We'll get you settled down with everything you need to know about this varsity team in this young season as the broadcast progresses. And this basket for Canton, and now Milford pushes the floor in transition. This pass leaks out to De Silva, and now into the hands of Rivera, who's guarded closely by Zach Sandin. Now Milford gears up for a three. It's no good. Coutinho can't settle down the rebound, so Canton gets there. Starting five for the visiting Canton Bulldogs is Anthony Delezia, Zach Sandin, Miles Jereb, J.J. Falk, and Ben Secord. As Milford commits the foul on Delezia, who was cutting in towards the basket. The starting five for the Scarlet Hawks is Gus Coutinho, Andrew Rivera, Matt De Silva, Luca Testa, and the 6'10" freshman Anthony Daniels rounds out the starting five for the Scarlet Hawks. Delezia now shooting free throws. Foul was called on Coutinho, his first team foul of this opening quarter. Dana Olson back for his second season now, leading this Scarlet Hawks varsity program. This on the second free throw attempt for Delezia, so just a 1-0 score here. They feed Daniels down low, trying to use that height advantage. Can't finish. Nice work fighting for that offensive rebound by Coutinho. And now De Silva from the free throw line. His shot rims out, so Milford not having a lot of luck around the rim through this opening sequence. And now Delezia will shoot from deep. His shot no good. And the rebound collected once again by Coutinho. Milford 4-2, coming off of a successful winter tournament that they hosted here over the holiday break. Ended up in the championship round against Burncoat. Able to win that championship in exciting overtime fashion. Basket from J.J. Falk gives the visitors an early 3-0 lead. And this ball floated up and in, and it's good for Matt De Silva. A lot of new faces on this Scarlet Hawks varsity roster. So interested to get to see this new look team in action. Again, already 6 games under their belt, a plus 500 record, so it's been a pretty solid start for this team. 5:18 to go in the first quarter. As Canton pulls up for a long jumper, it's no good, and Daniels has no problem pulling down that rebound. Bringing Milford the kind of height that they have not had at any point in the more than 12 years that I've been covering varsity athletics here in Milford. 6'10", Anthony Daniels. That is a welcome sight. A freshman on the varsity roster. So it'll be fun to see the kind of dynamic that Daniels can bring. Gets the ball down low here. Hasn't been able to finish in a couple of chances here in the first quarter. Wave off that basket as the foul took place on the floor. 4:52 on the first quarter clock, a 3-2 score. Milford's had some sluggish starts to many of their games so far this season. Lower scoring output in the first quarter, but they've been turning it on as the game has gone on. Ball swatted loose De Silva can't pick it up, and now Canton up ahead of the defense, but cannot finish on the layup. And then a whole lot of contact as De Silva kind of got sandwiched in there by a couple of defenders. And Milford will have a chance to inbound, missing an uncontested layup. Inbounds pass finds Daniels, and then back into the hands of Andrew Rivera, who cuts all the way to the basket and then comes down hard, and it's a little slow to get back to his feet. Came down maybe on the shoulder, now helped up by his teammates, and a very quick hush falls over the crowd to see Rivera a little bit slow to get back to his feet. Now we'll go to the free throw line. Dio Rodriguez now out on the floor for Milford as Rivera knocks down his first free throw attempt, his first point of the night, and ties the score. Canton head coach Dan Kaiser deploying a couple of subs as well here with just over 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Rivera taking care of business from the line. Milford will take their first lead at 4-3. A nice feed under the basket, but it couldn't be handled by Derek Gerard. It was a good play put together there. Rivera trying to create a numbers advantage up the floor. Good hard pass finds Buckley in the corner. He'll dribble it in, cut to the basket, and score. Nice to see Jack Buckley healthy and out with this team from day one of the season. It was such a struggle for Buckley after missing the Final Four game for the football team in the fall last year, and then had issues that continued on into a decent chunk of the basketball season as well. Never seemed like he could get into the flow of last season. As we get a timeout called on the Canton sideline. Stops the clock with 3 minutes and 54 seconds to go as Milford now takes a 6-3 lead. Again, we welcome in all of our viewers joining us for this coverage tonight. We're live on this Tuesday evening, the 7th of January. Live locally on our Milford TV educational channel, as well as on our Verizon High Definition channel. And of course, you can stream us live anywhere, anytime on our YouTube channel. Got a decent crowd on YouTube checking out the coverage tonight, so we appreciate you all checking out this coverage here on Milford TV. I am Milford TV's Executive Director, Tim Coet, joined tonight on the coverage by our production coordinator, Patrick Garapi, who's manning the cameras. Opportunity now to get settled into what should be a fun winter of coverage here on Milford TV. Over the next 5 or 6 weeks, we will be locked and loaded with plenty of coverage of this boys basketball team, the girls basketball team as well. We've got our first hockey coverage of the season coming up tomorrow, though that will not be live, as unfortunately the Iceplex does not have the ability for us to connect back to our studio, so we'll be recording that coverage for playback. We'll also have some coverage of the Milford wrestling team coming up, our first match on tap next week as well, so join us all season long for winter sports coverage on Milford TV. Out of the timeout, 3:48 to go in the first quarter. Light on the scoreboard, just 6-3 our score, Milford with the lead. Catino trying to get this inbounds pass in. Now finally given the chance to do so, gets it into the hands of Rivera. Rivera finds Burns. Burns goes up for the layup and ends up getting fouled. Ryan Maxis in off the bench for Canton, picks up a foul. 3 team fouls now for Canton, 1 for the Scarlet Hawks. And Ryan Burns shooting free throws, misses his first. Matt De Silva, the sophomore, back into the game. Milford 3 out of 4 shooting free throws in this quarter. 4-point lead now. Canton losing the bulk of their scoring attack from last season to graduation. The one player that remains that was a key contributor last season right on cue is Anthony DeLetzia, who let it fly from 3-point range there to pull Canton back to within 1. He was a thorn in Milford's side when they played here in the Milford gym last season for their lone regular season matchup. That was a game that Canton led by quite a bit. Milford put on an impressive second half comeback bid. Erased, I believe, a 17-point deficit in that game, cut it down to a 1-possession game, but then could not complete the comeback. Canton went on to win the game. That's right now Coach Kaiser on the Canton side, airing a bit of frustration out on the court. Couldn't quite hear if that was directed at his players or perhaps at the officiating crew, as De Silva shoots free throws. Foul was called on Jack Feeney, excuse me. Meanwhile, free throw misses there for De Silva. Missed opportunity for the Bulldogs, and finally Milford's able to settle down a defensive rebound. Coming down to 2.5 minutes to play in the first quarter as Rivera dribbles down low. This is on a layup. Got feet tangled up with a defender. Another foul. This will pause the action with 2:10 to go. Second foul now on Jack Feeney since entering the game, and it will give another chance at the free throw line for De Silva. This time it's a make. Testa returning here now for this final stretch of the quarter. Coach Olson mixing and matching here in the opening period, as this time De Silva goes 2 for 2. Milford pulls back in front, neither side up to double figures yet, with just over 2 minutes to play in this opening period. Now out on the perimeter, he'll again shoot a deep 3. This time he front rims it, and the rebound deflects right to Testa. Testa loses control of the basketball and then commits a foul. Got a little indecisive there with where he wanted to send that pass, and nice job by J.J. Falk to insert himself into the situation and create the turnover. 2 team fouls now for Milford. That was the first on Testa. And 90 seconds now left in the quarter as Canton is open for a 3. It's no good, but Catino ends up deflecting the ball right back to the Bulldogs. Zach Sandin now goes to the basket, and he will now shoot a couple of free throws. First foul of the game on Andrew Rivera. Two good free throws for Zach Sandin, and the lead now flips to the Canton side with 1:15 on the clock. Rivera can't find entry, dishes a pass to Coutinho, sends that off of the back of the rim, but there is Burns to track down the rebound. Now Buckley able to sneak away from a defender. He can't get the finish. Now it's Coutinho hacking away. The ball loose and pulled down by Wesley Mui, and a big opportunity there for Milford, about 3 or 4 shots. Nothing doing, and now Canton able to extend the lead with just 35 seconds left to go. Now the ball loose, and again Milford turns it over. Milford able to fight for the possession back. And eventually that one drops in. Final stretch here with 12 seconds to go on the clock. Quickly down into the corner for Secord. He gives it up. Shot offline for Falk. And just chucked down the court by Burns as time expires. So Milford not looking totally comfortable on the offensive side of the floor throughout that quarter. They had some opportunities, a lot of misses. They trail by just a single point at the close of the first quarter of play, 12-11 with Canton in front. We'll take a quick pause here on the broadcast. We'll be back with the second quarter in just a moment as we bring you this action live from the Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Second quarter is next here on Milford TV. Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV, presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Tim Coed here with you on the call, live from the Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Second quarter now getting underway, and Canton starting to get a little bit more comfortable as Secord now opens up the scoring. 14-11 lead for the Bulldogs over the Scarlet Hawks as second quarter action begins. Daniels trying to tip that ball in. It's no good. Another good rebound for Coutinho, and he'll have a chance at a three-point play. Coutinho has made some solid contributions through the opening stretch of this season. Can't make the free throw. Stays a 1-point lead for the Bulldogs. It was a little bit of an unusual start to the game here tonight. When we arrived, the freshman teams were wrapping up, and we were told there was no JV game. Not quite sure if that was due to transportation issues or if Canton does not have a JV team this season. We also had a late arrival for the varsity team as well, so warm-ups got underway a little bit later. A lot of just waiting around for these Milford players for the varsity action to ramp up. Of course, everyone's settling in now for the long haul of this winter sports season. Always a strange feeling to those first handful of games at the end of December. Not really feeling like the season is fully started, as Milford commits another turnover. Turnovers have cropped up as an issue here late in the first quarter and now into the second. Delezia will have a chance to inbound. Gets it in to Falk. Again, a lot of the starting players graduating from last year's Bulldogs team that made it into the postseason. Falk and Delezia both do bring some veteran leadership to this group, as that is Zach Sandin, who drops in the three ball from the corner. He has 5 points in this first half, and Canton now with a 17-13 lead. Milford has yet to make a three. That was the first three ball for either side in this half. Silva able to respond with two. De Silva with 6 first half points. Lead for Canton is 2. Wide open was Falk that time, but he couldn't make the three. And long outlet pass finds De Silva. Contested shot will lead to free throws for the sophomore. Silva 3 for 6 shooting free throws in this half. Again, Milford cuts it to a 1-point game. Delezia in some trouble, pinned to the corner. Good defense there from Milford. Rivera had poked the ball away, but after Coach Kaiser had called the Bulldogs timeout, stopping the clock with 5 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in this first half. So as we look back through some of the recent action for Milford, they last played on Friday of last week. It was here at home against Attleboro. A disappointing loss for Milford, 74-50. It was another game that Milford really struggled to score in the first quarter. Attleboro was able to build up a lead and led it virtually the whole way. That ended up breaking up a 4-game winning streak for Milford, as again we mentioned, they were able to clean up during winter tournament action during the holidays with a 73-45 win over Walpole, followed up in the championship round with a 95-93 OT win against Burncoat. Also had a non-conference win against the Hopkinton Hillers back on December 23rd, 70-68, another close final score, and then of course that 85-77 high-scoring victory against North Attleboro on December 21st that, of course, featured the 1,000th point in the career of senior Andrew Rivera, that after a 71-62 loss for Milford at Stoughton on their opening night of the season. So that is the overview of how things have gone for Milford through this early stretch of games, allowing them to come into tonight with an overall record of 4-2. Five and a half minutes to go in this half as the ball comes loose back toward midcourt and then is deflected out of bounds off the hands of J.J. Falk. Milford will inbound underneath the basket. And once again to Rivera. Falk keeping an eye on Milford's top scorer, who loses the handle. And then Milford commits the foul, and Scarlet Hawks having all kinds of trouble with ball security in this first half. court, brings the basketball into the front court. Delezia now gives away to Falk. He steps inside the three-point line, drains an easy two. Lead for Canton is 3, so if anything, Milford's lucky that it's still just a one-possession game, as it has not been exactly a clinic here in this first half. They will count the basket here for Catino. Has another chance at a three-point play. Looks like Coach Olson will once again deploy Ryan Burns off the bench. Canton foul was on Zach Sannon. His first foul, he heads to the bench. This time Catino completes the three-point play. 5 points in the half so far for Gus. And we're tied now 19 all. Catino now with the defensive rebound. He finds Rivera, who will reset things out by midcourt. It's been a quiet half for Milford's senior captain and scoring leader, as Catino really does some tough work underneath the basket. Good concentration, grabs his own rebound, and eventually puts it in for 2 more. And now Delezia with the left hand goes up for 2. Six points in the half for Anthony Delezia. Rivera avoids another turnover. Now this pass carved down low into Ryan Burns, up for grabs and pulled down by Catino. Here's De Silva, who sneaks in behind and drops it in uncontested for 2. 9 points now in the half for Matt De Silva, and Milford is back out in front, 23-21, looking a little livelier in this last 60 seconds or so. De Silva able to get a hand on that pass, didn't know where the ball went. Fortunately, a miss for the Bulldogs, and now De Silva takes it up the floor before relinquishing to Catino, and now up to Rivera. The only 2 points for Andrew Rivera in this half came at the free throw line. This ball goes out of bounds. Stay Milford ball, 15 seconds on the shot clock, 3:01 to go in the half. Into Rivera, and now Jack Buckley, fresh back into the game. Free throws for Catino. Able to make the second, 24-21. Loose ball picked up by Burns, fed back to Rivera. Rivera again closed up out on the perimeter. Awkward pass there, Burns able to pick it up. Shot no good, rebound is collected by Sannon. 2:15 on the clock. As Canton turns around, can't make the shot. Rivera with the defensive rebound. Andrew trying to of direct traffic as now he hands off to Jack Buckley, who will get called for the travel. Canton barrels his way inside, loses control of the basketball. Rivera's there. Momentarily pinned to the sidelines, but able to get his way out of it. And now Rivera committing yet another turnover on the Milford side. Pull up here for Falk, no problem. He's up to 6 points in the half, and it is back down to a 1-point game. So just when it started to look like Milford was getting a bit more comfortable, another turnover or two, and Canton pulls it back to a 1-point game. A couple of point-blank misses there on that possession for Milford, but now it's Canton with the giveaway. Rivera through traffic, gives way to De Silva. Takes the shot from the corner, it's no good. Burns trying to poke the ball loose. It eventually does come free at midcourt, where Rivera finds it. Now it's Testa. Jumper is off target. Rebound is collected by Secord. Now Sandin with 36 seconds to Deletsiev, thinking about taking a shot from just outside the center circle. Instead it's Falk who takes it from 3-point range, a little bit more standard 3-point range, but shot is no good. And now Cole Jolson wants to call the timeout. That stops the clock with 22.9 seconds to go. Shot clock turned off for this last stretch of the half. Choppy game here through the first half. Both teams not looking very comfortable. Milford looking to draw something up here for this last stretch to try to extend this lead going into halftime. This has been an extended stretch here at home for the Scarlet Hawks. They played that entire winter tournament here at home over the holiday break, then came back for a Hockomock League matchup with Attleboro last Friday. And then a full week of home games here this week, starting tonight with this one against Canton. They'll be home again. I beg your pardon, they will have a road game against Sharon. That was a game that was originally scheduled back in December. That will now get squeezed in tomorrow night. So Milford will travel away from their home gym tomorrow, but then they will be back on Friday to take on the King Philip Warriors. And that is another game that we will have covered for you here on Milford TV Live on Friday night, as Milford takes on their Kelly Rex rivals. 22.9 seconds to go. Dio Rodriguez back onto the floor for Milford. Now it's Testa who will take a shot from the free throw line that misses everything. Burns able to get a rebound. And now it is Manny Vilbrun who gets his first points of the game. Meanwhile, quite sure the call there, could not hear from the official, as meanwhile Zach Sandin comes off the floor. 4.1 seconds on the game clock as now the two officials come together. So Canton will inbound. It's Secord underneath the basket. They have 5.6 seconds on the clock now. As this ball gets knocked loose, 1 second. A flip up in the air for De Silva. The ball goes over the backboard the other way, and that will send us into halftime with Milford in the lead with the score 26-23. So again, not the cleanest played half for either side, but Milford trailed by 1 after the first and now carries a 26-23 lead into the half. So we will pause here on our commentary. Right now, 9 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock before halftime. So if you're joining us on the live coverage, just hang tight for the next 9 minutes or so, and then we'll be back with third quarter action. As again, we bring it to you live from the Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. 26-23, Milford leads Canton on this coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV, presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Back in the Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth, getting settled in for second half action here in Milford. Scarlet Hawks had a 26-23 lead coming into this quarter. Canton grabbing the first 2 points just as we came back from the half. Tim Coed once again here with you on the call. Our first boys basketball action of this 2024-2025 school year. It was Delezia with those first points of the half for the Bulldogs. And now that one rims out from distance. De Silva with a quick feed up ahead. Ball ends up going out of play. Possession stays with Milford as Rivera loops the inbounds pass into Coutinho, gets the ball back. Just 2 points in this game for Andrew Rivera so far. A unusually quiet half of basketball for the 1,000-point scorer. Milford able to get 2 out of that possession, 28-25 now the score. Falk now will pull up for the shot. Falk had 6 points in the first half for the Bulldogs. Out in the corner now for Sandin. He drops it in from 3. It's his second three-pointer of the night, and that pushes Canton in front. Testa able to salvage the possession. Now De Silva just does get that ball into the hands of Coutinho. Coutinho bodies up, puts it up for 2. Coutinho's been the most reliable scoring option for Milford in this game so far. Had 8 points in the first half. ball comes loose, and it's going to go the other way as Delezia ended up down on the floor. You have to imagine that Rivera came into this season feeling a little bit of pressure with that milestone looming. Not feeling any pressure there, right on cue. Drops it in from three-point range. That's his first shot from the floor, but good enough to give Milford a three-point lead. But we know when Rivera heats up, he can really heat up in a hurry. As meanwhile, Milford commits the foul on the floor. They're going to call it on Daniels. It's his first. Substitutions coming in here for Coach Kaiser. Santa now pushes back outside to Louis. Gets it back, takes the shot from the free throw line, it's no good, and Catino pulls down another rebound. Daniels calling for it, had the height mismatch down low and takes advantage. 4 points now for Daniels. Milford building up. It's been just about the largest lead for either side tonight at 5 points. Not long lasting as Delezia comes back with 2. A little bit of a better pace to this third quarter so far than what we saw in the first half. Rivera having trouble with ball security. It looked like Milford was going to get it back. Canton pushes the floor. Now Canton with 2 bodies down as they frantically try to call timeout from the sideline. Get Delezia down underneath the basket, and then Falk down fighting for possession, and in the end it looks like they're going to give it to Milford here after the scrum. They called the jump ball. The call there despite Canton's efforts to call the timeout. Possession arrow going Milford's way, so Rivera, no harm done after his turnover. Now Daniels will turn around and try the jumper. Let's see, and Falk now on the perimeter for the Bulldogs. Delezia maybe trying to do a little too much there, and again it is Catino who settles down the rebound. And now Daniels takes the feed, puts in an easy bucket, and Milford trying to get a good rhythm going with Daniels down low, and right now a decided height advantage for Daniels over just about any other Canton body on the floor. Trying to use that a little bit more to their advantage. Falk, meanwhile, puts in another one for the Bulldogs. So it's still just a 3-point lead for Milford. Catino back to work again. He has 4 in this third quarter. Continue to hover around a 5-point lead for Milford as the Hawks commit the foul with 2:06 to go. Falk to the free throw line. It's the second foul on Luca Testa. Coach Olson with a trio of subs. Now checking into the game. Daniels will get a rest here after picking up 4 points in this third quarter. Rivera's the only one who's played the whole way so far in this one. He's out there right now with De Silva, Buckley, Catino, and Burns. And meanwhile, I think we had a rogue guitar player in the stands, trying to create some irritation for the free throw shooter. Athletic director Peter Boucher shutting that down. The free throw was missed regardless. Buckley now kicks it out for De Silva, tries to carve his way down low, now punching that ball in towards the basket. Burns there trying to provide some assistance, but Canton will come away with possession. And Delezia is going to get fouled. They call it on Matt De Silva. He has 2 fouls now on the night. Falk guns it in to Anthony Delezia. Top now to Wesley Mui. And now it's Falk again, turns around, shoots over Buckley, and drops it in. J.J. Falk, 6 points now in this third quarter. He's got 12 overall on the night. And it's back down to a 3-point lead for Milford with 1:24 to play in the third quarter. Taking a look back through the head-to-head meetings between Milford and Canton over the years. We tracked the matchup all the way back to the 2015 season. Milford overall is 7-6 head-to-head against Canton. However, the recent history has favored the Bulldogs. Canton has won the last 3 consecutive head-to-head meetings. That includes a 77-71 win here in Milford last season, in that failed comeback bid we talked about for the Scarlet Hawks. Then 2 years ago in Canton, the Bulldogs were able to win a closer game, 52-46. And then in the 2021-2022 season, another low-scoring game where Canton was able to win here at Milford 45-30. So last season's game with that big 77-71 score, kind of the outlier in this matchup. We typically see lower scoring games between these two teams, and that's exactly what we have shaping up here tonight, as neither side has yet reached the 40-point mark with just over a minute to play. Rivera misses a shot. Mui picks up the rebound, and we cut down close to a minute to play. Still 39-36 on the scoreboard as the ball continues to be tough for both of these teams to settle down. De Silva eventually able to do so, and puts in the bucket that will now push Milford over the 40-point threshold, 41-36. Down to 45 seconds to play in the third quarter as Delezia has his lane to the basket closed off by Burns. Ball, tough pass down low to Delezia. He ends up getting fouled. Again, a difficult transition for this Canton team as, again, they had 3 quality scorers in Jeremiah Predden, Zaza Francoeur, and Jamal McConnell last season. All graduated. Making a miss at the line for Anthony Delezia. Lead for Milford is 4. goes out of play. Stay Milford basketball. Shot clock turned off with just 13.5 to play. Rivera into the basket. Could not get the layup, but Ryan Burns cleans it up, puts it in for two. And one last shot here for Delezia is no good. And so with that shot from Burns just before the buzzer, Milford will carry a 43-37 lead into the fourth quarter. 8 minutes to go in this one. Quick pause here on the broadcast as we continue to come to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV is proudly presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Fourth quarter begins here in Milford. With a state-of-the-art facility and a commitment to excellence, Rentschler Biopharma is poised to tackle the most complex challenges in biopharmaceutical development and manufacturing. Rentschler Biopharma, proud sponsor of our broadcast booth. A miss here for Canton, and then Escatino trying to direct traffic up the floor. Canton eventually commits the foul. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV, of course, is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company, coming close to our 1-year anniversary of Rail Trail jumping in as our presenting sponsor. Make sure you check out Rail Trail's brunch every weekend from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at both their Hudson and Milford locations. Recent items featured on their brunch menu include shakshuka and also sourdough flapjacks, and also a lot more on that brunch menu as well. Absolutely delicious brunch options there at Rail Trail. Make sure you check them out over at their Main Street location here in Milford. Free throws for Milford get us started here in quarter number 4. Two successful free throws for Gus Catino, who has been a steady option for Milford on the floor all night long, a game in which Milford has not gotten much out of Andrew Rivera. Delezia comes back with a couple of free throws for the Bulldogs. So just about a minute into this fourth quarter, 2-possession lead for the Scarlet Hawks. Catino with 14 points on the night. Rivera with a three-point try, it's no good. Sneaks back in, gets his own rebound, puts it in for 2, and a chance for a three-point play. This crowd has been wanting to erupt for Rivera all night long. Of course, still a lot of good vibes in this gym after the 1,000th point was achieved here against North Attleboro back just before Christmas. Rivera completing the three-point play. Up to 8 points now on the night for Andrew. And Milford with the biggest lead they've had all night, now at 9 points. 6:55 to go in the game. Looking to grab their second victory against a Hockomock League team this season. Played a lot of non-conference games over the holidays, went 3-0 against those non-league teams. Here's Catino, again, another tough bucket down low. It's really where he has flourished tonight. Great game for Gus. Milford now at 50 points. As Sandin puts up a three, it's no good, and De Silva will take care of the rebound. Rivera, little touch pass down low to Gus, who winds his way around for a shot that's no good. They're going to say Catino committed the foul. It was his second. So the crowd wanting to see a travel call instead, but it'll be a foul on Gus. Team fouls at 2 apiece here in the fourth quarter. Here's Mui, he'll launch a three, it's no good. De Silva, the rebound. Luca Testa will run the length of the floor. He flips it up and in for two. And believe it or not, that is Luca Testa's first points in the game. So strange on a night where Rivera and Testa have been so limited on offense that Milford right now looks to be in good position to pick up a victory. As here, Catino will slam it home. That gets everybody on their feet. And Secord responds with 2 points of his own, but everyone's still buzzing. You don't get a lot of dunks. In these high school games. Catino giving the fans what they wanted to see. Now Rivera tries a little reverse lay-in, it's no good. Milford again hacking away on the offensive boards. Ball ends up out of play. Clock paused at 4:54. 13-point lead now for the Scarlet Hawks, as Rivera misses a jumper from the free throw line. Delezia with the outlet pass, spins away from Rivera. Milford is going to pick up a foul here, and looks like some conversation about equity of calls on each end of the floor. As Andrew Rivera will now pick up his third foul. More free throw shooting for Anthony Delezia. This is the first. Four out of 7 so far tonight from the line as Delezia, with one more coming up here. And a lane violation is going to wipe away the second free throw chance. And now the ball left behind. Delezia picks it up. Rivera tries to contest at the rim, but Delezia will pick up 2. Lead at 11. Rivera tries to flip up a circus shot. It's no good. Rebound finds its way into the hands of the Bulldogs. It's again Delezia. Nearly puts in another rebound. This time it doesn't go. Milford getting a little loose here with the double-digit lead, and perhaps that is exactly what Coach Olson was thinking as well, although he still looks to be smarting over the lack of calls on Milford's end of the floor as he gives an earful to the official before heading over into the huddle. So the clock paused at 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go. Milford with an 11-point lead. So again, we gave you a little bit of the update on what to expect coming up on our schedule. Our next live coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics will come your way on Friday, as we'll once again have coverage of this boys basketball team as they take on King Philip. Next week, we'll be live with 3 games. We'll have the girls basketball team at home against Mansfield on Tuesday. Then we'll have our first wrestling coverage of the season. And from what we hear, it is just the first home match of the season for the wrestling team as they will take on Sharon on Wednesday. That action will be live. We'll have a special guest commentator, Milford student Eddie Huff, back by popular demand after some quality wrestling commentary he gave us last season. And then we'll close out next week with more girls basketball action as Milford hosts Franklin. And again, we will also be recording coverage of the hockey co-op game against Algonquin tomorrow over at the Iceplex, so you can expect that coverage available on YouTube and re-airing on our channels coming up in the days ahead as well. 56-43 now the score as Daniels picks up another rebound. Daniels also had the bucket just moments ago. Milford quickly escalating the lead up to 58-43 with just about 3.5 minutes left to go. Miles Cherub launching that one from distance. It's no good, and now the giveaway for Testa, and another opportunity for Anthony Delezia. Milford lead now standing at 13. Delezia trying to shake Testa, now steps back, gets the ball back for a deeper look from 3 and drops it in. So the ultimate confidence in that shooting ability for Delezia, who now has 9 points in this fourth quarter. 18 points on the night, so Delezia has really heated up, especially in this fourth quarter, but it is still a 10-point lead for the Scarlet Hawks. Still a little over 3 minutes to go, and we have seen that Milford has had some stretches tonight where they have really struggled to finish at the rim, so this game is not quite out of reach. A little bit of the reverse of what we saw between these two teams last season, where it was Milford trying for a last-ditch comeback in the fourth quarter that came up a little bit short. And back on the floor, ready to resume. Milford, a few final words with their coaching staff. Milford tied for third place in the Kelly Rex division coming into tonight's action. It is Attleboro and Franklin that lead the way right now. Both of those teams unbeaten. Attleboro at 6-0, Franklin at 7-0. Both teams 4-0 in Hockomock League play. Milford, the only other team in the Kelly Rex with a plus 500 record at 4-2. Canton calling for the trap. Rivera able to get the pass away. Catino avoided the turnover and then puts in the bucket. 8 points in this fourth quarter for Gus Catino. A 20-point night for Catino. Down to 2.5 minutes as we'll see more work at the free throw line for Anthony D'Alessio as they call the third foul on Matt De Silva. So a chance to once again cut it to a 10-point margin. D'Alessio 4 out of 5 shooting free throws in this quarter alone. 6 out of 9 overall on the night. Long pass and a dangerous one as Milford couldn't handle it. And now more free throws the other way as Milford finishing this game the way it began, looking a little out of sorts. As it is Styles Shoagwem shooting free throws. Able to make one, so it is a 9-point lead as Canton tries to trap in the backcourt. Milford just barely able to get the ball away, and now in some trouble. It was Testa on the baseline who lost control of the basketball, and Milford right now just cannot get themselves organized. Canton putting the pressure on in the backcourt, and it has really forced Milford into some uncomfortable situations. So Canton with the ball back, trailing by 9, 2:12 on the clock. Miss for the Bulldogs, and this time a good outlet pass ahead to Rivera, who then dribbles it out of bounds, and Milford will turn it over again. So Milford doing their best to make this basketball again here in these closing minutes. Down to 1:48 on the clock. De Silva pokes that ball loose, but Falk able to pick it up. His shot no good. Buckley pulls down a rebound. And now it's De Silva under the basket. He gets fouled after Luca Testa just barely kept his balance along the near sideline amongst the cheerleaders. De Silva now will shoot free throws as the foul was called on J.J. Falk. He has 3 fouls. Exactly 90 seconds on the clock in a game that Coach Olsen would love to see his team get out of as soon as possible. One shot made for De Silva to reestablish a 10-point lead. Secord, contested jumper off the side of the rim. Rebound once again for Gus Catino. And De Silva able to sneak away at midcourt. And then, I'm not sure if he was expecting contact as he just sort of flipped the ball up nowhere close to the basket. Ends up out of bounds, and now with less than 60 seconds to play, here's D'Alessio. He'll flip one up, takes a couple of bounces around, doesn't go in, and Catino secures the rebound, now gives it away. Falk goes up, and he gets fouled. timeout taken on the floor, 48.2 seconds to go, and what has been a very slow march to the end of this one tonight. So Anthony Delezia now really the focal point on the floor for the Bulldogs. He has 11 points in this fourth quarter. He has single-handedly kept Canton within striking distance. Catino with 8 points in the fourth. So Milford comes out of the timeout with Rivera, Catino, Buckley, De Silva, and Testa, as Falk will shoot free throws. Catino stays out there with 4 fouls. Falk goes 1 for 2 from the line. Again, it's a 9-point lead. Milford escapes the backcourt. Catino a little give and go, finishes at the rim. The lead is 11 as Canton flips a little desperation shot that clips the side of the backboard, and now Andrew Rivera wanders his way up the floor, then sends a pass into some tough traffic that gets taken away by Canton, leading the way to yet another Delezia bucket. So down to the final 12 seconds. Catino will put an exclamation point on a fabulous night. 12 points in this fourth quarter. Delezia will shoot it from deep one last time, and that will send us home with a final score 65-54. And so not at all a pretty one for Milford tonight, but they will certainly take the win, especially against a league opponent. And so again, Milford takes it by that final score of 65-54. So with the victory, Milford will improve to 5-2 now on the season. And with the loss, a loss that breaks up a little 2-game winning streak for the Bulldogs, they will now fall to 2-5. So some road work to do for Milford tomorrow against the Sharon Eagles before they return right back here to the Milford gym on Friday to take on the King Philip Warriors. That is our next live coverage here on Milford TV Friday night for that big matchup with the King Philip Warriors. We hope you will join us for that coverage on Friday. In the meantime, a big thank you to Patrick Garapi for helping out on the coverage tonight. And I am Tim Coet coming to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. That final score one final time, 65-54. Milford defeats Canton. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV, presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. So long, everybody.